How often do you use Google Maps to navigate new places, plan trips, or simply explore the corners of the earth from your screen? Pretty often, right? Well, imagine stumbling upon something so bizarre it blows your mind. In this video, we're uncovering 5 mind-boggling discoveries on Google Maps, from the mysterious to the downright eerie, that you wouldn't have known about otherwise. But before we do so, like and subscribe. Okay, let's jump in now. New Baltimore is a tiny town in New York with a population of little more than 3,000. The town's initial Google Maps pictures were submitted in 2007. However, unlike other sites on the platform, the Street View photographs appear to be distorted, giving the entire town a twisted and discolored appearance, representing something very different from the actual place in real life. When you zoom out far enough, the problem disappears and the roads, people, and houses begin to appear normal again. The position remained unchanged on Google Maps for 8 years until 2015, when Google resolved the issue by adding updated images of updated Baltimore to the programmed. To this day, it is unknown what caused the problem, and Google has never provided an explanation. Of course, small glitches and equipment errors happen all the time, but what's unusual is that this is the only location on the platform where the entire town looked like this. What's more disturbing is that even after Google claimed to have fixed the glitch after 8 years, some people still reported that there were certain spots in New Baltimore where the Street View would temporarily glitch and show a distorted, creepy version of the people and homes. Because Google never officially published any information regarding the problem, individuals have spent years trying to come up with theories. Many users have claimed that it wasn't a malfunction and that New Baltimore is actually a gateway, while others allege that the entire town is haunted. Some people still believe that the bug was never fully resolved. A guy by the name of Jerry Nyman used Google Maps in 2019 to simulate a school bus route in Florida. Jerry was employed for the Palm Beach County School District's transportation department at the time, and part of his responsibility there was to ensure that bus routes were sufficiently secure for kids to board and get off without having to go near any major roads. Things took a turn when Jerry received an email one day from a middle school in the area requesting him to confirm that the existing bus routes were secure. Jerry discovered the school was near his ex-girlfriend Erica's residence after reading the email. Looking through Google Maps to see the bus route, he spotted what appeared to be a white automobile along the side of an artificial lake close to Erica's home. Asking her if she had ever seen the automobile, he texted her right away. As the water was murky and muddy, she declined but volunteered to walk over and have a look. In order to get assistance, she had to ask a neighbor, who then contacted 911 and verified that there was a white automobile in the retention pond. Jerry said that he had just seen the automobile on Google Maps when police arrived and began questioning him, speculating that he could have been involved in it. The police discovered shockingly that a man's skeleton still buckled up in his seatbelt was in the driver's seat after they had pulled the car out of the pond and looked inside. The automobile belonged to William Mould, a 40-year-old mortgage salesman who vanished back in 1997, as was eventually discovered. According to the narrative, William was in a nightclub on November 7 at around 9:30 p.m. He informed his lover over the phone that he would be returning home shortly. Witnesses stated that William had not actually socialized with anybody, and that when he left the club about 11 p.m., although having had numerous drinks, he did not appear drunken inside his white car. It was the final evening that anybody would ever see him alive. Authorities launched an investigation when his girlfriend filed a missing persons report, but the case immediately became cold as there were no new leads. It's hardly shocking that no one saw the automobile for 22 years until it was discovered on Google Maps, given how dark the retention pond's water was. There are still unanswered questions regarding William Mould's disappearance and how his automobile got into the lake. In a random location in Sonora, Mexico, a Google Street View vehicle captured images of 4 masked individuals standing in the middle of the road. On one side of the road, a man wearing a scream mask stands next to another wearing a Mexican wrestling mask over his face. A third individual wearing a werewolf mask stands in the center of the road, with another man in a balaclava and cap. After the finding was uploaded on Reddit around a year ago, people began to come up with explanations for the bizarre image. One theory is that the people in the photograph were observing the Mexican Day of the Dead tradition, of dressing up in masks and costumes to dance and honor their ancestors on this day. Some towns encourage people to dress up and dance on the street for money, urging viewers to join in. According to traditions, if you join in and dance with them once, you must repeat it for 7 years in a row to prevent being hunted by ghosts. However, the Day of the Dead idea does seem plausible. The photo was shot in April, yet the Day of the Dead isn't until November. Therefore, the people in the photograph were concealing their faces for another cause. A number of people on the internet believed that the men were members of the Sonora Cartel, as the photo was taken in a region run by them. The men may be members of that organization. The motives for standing on the road are unclear, but others believe something terrible was going on when the photographs were taken. The Sonora Cartel is one of Mexico's oldest and most prominent drug cartels. They were well known as one of the first organizations to export a wide range of narcotics into the United States. However, whether the persons in the photograph are cartel members has not been established. Interestingly, this is not the first time people have been seen wearing weird masks on Google Maps. In 2013, a group of people wearing pigeon masks were seen outside a train station in western Tokyo. Although the image looks a touch disturbing, it was subsequently found that the entire thing was a stage joke organized by a group of art students from a local institution. However, this is unlikely to have occurred with the images captured in Mexico. A Malaysia Airlines aircraft carrying 227 passengers and 12 crew members vanished in March 2014 while traveling from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing. The unexplained disappearance of Flight 370 led to a huge global search and rescue effort. However, the searches were cancelled by the governments of China, Malaysia, and Australia in January 2017, 3 years later. The cause of the plane's disappearance is still a mystery. However, given that it is well known that a jet must be controlled manually in order to veer as far off its path as Flight 370 did, most experts surmise that some kind of hijacking operation is the most plausible explanation. A guy by the name of Ian Wilson stated that he had located the crash site on Google Maps at an arbitrary position in the midst of the Cambodian forest a year after the search was cancelled. Ian and his brother Jackie went to Cambodia in an attempt to locate the wreckage of Flight 370. Sadly, they had to retreat before they could reach the accident site due to the extremely perilous jungle environment. However, the brothers want to locate it by going back to the Cambodian forest at a later date. Authorities have stated that while it's unsettling to see a jet stuck in the midst of the bush, it's doubtful that this is the missing Malaysia Airlines aircraft. 2 years prior to the sighting on Google Maps, sporadic wreckage from aircraft 370 was discovered around the coasts of several African nations. Furthermore, it would have been extremely difficult for the debris to have traveled across the Indian Ocean and reached the beaches of Madagascar and Tanzania from the Cambodian forest. Nonetheless, there is information that points to this location as the probable crash site of Flight 370. For instance, the aircraft was purportedly in Cambodian airspace when it lost communication with the operations center. In addition, the Malaysia Airlines aircraft that went missing was a Boeing 777 which had a length of almost 242 feet. Additionally, the length of the plane in the satellite image almost exactly matches the measurement tool on Google Maps. In interviews, a few Cambodian citizens also disclosed that, on the day of the disaster, they had witnessed a plane in the same vicinity flying overhead with an insignia like a kite. The conflicting evidence gave rise to conspiracy theories, according to which the Malaysian government had placed wreckage off the coast of Africa in order to expedite the case's resolution and avoid having to acknowledge that their first search for the jet was a complete failure. This might be possible because the location of Flight 370's crash is still unclear. Even if this isn't the location of Flight 370, it's still unsettling that an unauthorized aircraft is stuck in the midst of the Cambodian forest. In the Philippines' mountain province is the municipality of Swagata. The Kankan people who live in the region have a very strange custom for burying their dead, which makes for some eerily beautiful Google Earth photos of the area's rock faces. You frequently find coffins that have been hanging there. Since this tradition has been going on for a very long time, it is thought that the coffins are many centuries old, even if their exact date is unknown and has not yet been investigated by archaeologists. The coffins are situated beneath organic overhangs on the cliff faces, and in certain spots, they are set atop shelves of natural rock or atop wooden planks that have been wedged into openings bored into the cliff faces. Given that the Kankan people customarily bury their loved ones in the fetal position, the coffins are smaller than usual. This is because many pre-colonial civilizations in the Philippines uphold the custom that one should exit the world in the same manner that they arrived. Typically, the individuals whose bodies would be interred within the coffins carve them. It is also not customary for the Kankan people to be buried in this manner, despite their large number. Their social standing is utilized to determine how high up their coffin should be positioned. Only those who are deemed to be noteworthy or who were honorable leaders are granted this honor. Coffins within limestone caverns piled one on top of the other or wedged inside cracks are significantly more prevalent. According to popular belief, this kind of burial permits the departed souls to continue their journey and guard those who remain in this world. There is also the belief that the higher up someone is buried, the simpler it will be for them to ascend to a higher nature in the hereafter. Despite being properly tied, the coffins ultimately decay after being put on the cliffs, and it has been known that they might collapse and burst open into the land below. The majority of the caskets are not too difficult to locate, while a few are nearly inaccessible because of their height, yet they are never opened out of reverence for the departed.